calculate a percent increase, you want to take the amount of the increase. So we went from $2 to $3.50, so we went up by $1.50, and then divide it by the starting amount. When you calculate percentages, it's the amount you're interested in, divide by the starting amount or the total, and then it's always times 100 at the end to convert from a decimal to a percent. So this started at $2. So if you use a calculator if you want, $1.50 for the increase divided by starting amount of $2, that's a 75% increase in the price of this box of cereal. Assume an apple costs $1 in 2022. Employee makes $40,000 a year. So it went up by 10 cents in 2023. The employee uses every dollar. This is just the hypothetical situation, but it's trying to emphasize the fact that inflation is measuring how much stuff you can buy. And if we just want to make it simple, we can just say, let's say all the stuff we're buying is just apples, right? It's more complicated because some things don't go up at the same percentage as others. But okay, so how many less apples can they buy in 2023 than 2022? So in 2022, it's $1 per apple. So if you got $40,000, then you're getting 40,000 apples. So 2022, you're getting 40,000 apples. But 2023 is a little bit more complicated. We're keeping the same salary, but now apples cost more. So we got to take our total salary. So pretend this is all of our cash. It's physical cash, 20s, 5s, 1s. And we want to find out how many times we can split this into groups of cash of $1.10, because that will tell us how many apples we can buy. So 40,000, put it into groups of $1.10. So it looks like 36,364 apples if we round to the nearest apple. 36364. So in 2023, we could get 36,364 apples. Okay? And so if you subtract those two, that tells you how many less apples you can buy because of inflation. So you can buy 33,636 less apples. So you can buy less stuff. The price of the apples just went up 10 cents, but we lost a lot of apples that we could purchase, right? Our salary stayed the same, but it wasn't worth as much because we couldn't buy as many things. So if you're at a job and usually it's like every year, 2 years, maybe 3 years. It depends on the company and the profession you're in. Inflation is always going up, almost always. Every once in a while we have negative inflation where the value of your dollar goes up. You can buy more apples with $1 in the next year, but that's rare. It's usually that $1 buys less things every year. So if you're not getting a raise, a modest raise, it's like you got a pay deduction. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so this person still has $40,000 a year. Let's say the federal government said inflation's 5%. What should they have next year for a salary? So you could do it this way, how I have it typed up, or a quicker way of doing it is if you want to increase something by 5%, sorry, that's a dollar sign, multiply by 1.05. 1 means keep the same amount, 100% of our salary, and then the 0.05 means we're adding on an extra 5%. You'll get the same result as if you did it the slightly longer way. So $42,000 a year is what this person wants to make. Okay, and if you're wondering how inflation is measured, there's actually people that the federal government hires to call grocery stores, gas stations, and they'll ask them what's the price of this brand of butter. The store employee goes out and checks it, reports it back, and then they measure how much that price went up. And then they compile all that together to give this 5% number. Doesn't tell everything, right? Because some years gas stays the same, groceries goes up. But it's a good idea for us measuring our salaries.